Alright, so what I did, I just took and cut this piece of conduit, and I'm going to use that for the handle. And I'm going to take and sand it. And it's going to be on the bottom anyway, so it can't get you. So what my thinking is, I'm going to take and cut these grooves out of these boards. That way it'd just be solid on both ends. And then I'm going to take and like box this in, and I'll set it up to where what I'm going to do is take and cut these grooves out. And this is set up like this. So what my thinking is, I'm gonna rig it up to where when you pull it like this, it's gonna then activate one of these buttons. Alright, so then I'm gonna rig up one of these buttons, and then I'm gonna solder that'll be how I activate it. And this will just be the e-brake, but I'm gonna build a sequential shifter too. Alright, so what I'm doing now, I'm gonna take and I've already cut it. I took and cut those grooves off and stuff. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just trying to figure out exactly where I want this pole to sit, just so it isn't so big and stuff. So I'm thinking about maybe there. And then I don't want it to take up too much space when I'm actually building a full setup. I'll hold it for you. I got this just kind of held down with this clamp. I'm gonna take and drill a hole in this. I'm gonna do this in because this is where I cut, so it's just not as smooth. But I'm gonna smooth it down. But still, I'll just use this end to cut. Alright, so I got the hole drilled there. I'm just get my screw and put it through, and then drill 2 holes in these boards right here, and then cut a piece of wood off of this, and that way they'll go together. Or I may find a better looking piece because that piece has been used and stuff. Alright, so I thought about it, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to recess this button in this piece of wood. I'm going to just drill a hole all the way through, that way I can run my wires to this switch, and it's going to be recessed in there. Then this is going to set in here like this, because the button doesn't have much travel when you're actually hitting it. So if I was to just mount the button and then screw this piece of wood here, all you would be moving would be like this far. And that's not going to give you a feel of actually pulling a handbrake. But in a sense to where I'm just going to mount this to where the button's like maybe like really close. That way when you pull it, it'll be pretty instant. There won't be no delay when you're actually using the handbrake. But yet when you hit it, the piece of wood is actually going to move backwards. That way to give you that feel of actually having to pull it kind of far to actually, make it feel realistic. And then I'm going to rig up a spring on this piece of wood that causes it to come back forward, and then have a stopper on the front of this, that way it can only go so far. And that way it can, return pretty quick. And I have a couple springs to work with. And I'm going to have a stopper back here to stop this piece of wood from going very far back. So I'll just determine how far I want this to pull, and then set my stopper back here with a different piece of wood. So what we're about to do now is drill this hole. Alright, so I went ahead and cut out this front piece here. You can kind of see it. So I went ahead and put that on. Now we just got to cut out this back piece and do it real quick. To put this back piece on for me. Put it right there. Here, I'll hold one. Hang on.
Not in.
Just kind of right. Yeah, right there. All right. All right. So what I did, went and cut this piece out. Then I also went ahead and got this groove cut in here, and then I'm gonna use. I just got this as like using it to mock up, but I'm actually gonna get a bolt and stick to there, and that's gonna provide like a track system for this to ride on. I'm gonna come in the bottom with this, and that'll keep this piece here from tilting like that when you actually pull the brake. All right, so here it is. This is what I figured out. All these bolts, I know they look pretty bad. This is just what I used just to kind of mock everything up. But so what I ended up doing is putting a spring behind here. That way it gives you the spring back, and then now this screw here will keep it from going forward any further. And now it has just a little bit of space right there so the button isn't getting pressed all the time. All right, so here it is. Now, like I said in the last clip, it is the next day, but what I went ahead and done is I added a spring to the front, that way it holds it forward, and I actually ended up moving that screw a little bit further forward, because when you would pull this handle back and let go, when it sprung forward, it bounced back and it pushed the button again, and I didn't want to cause any interference when you're actually using the button. And then you'll see in the next clip that I'll put up, but I actually soldered the switch and got all that in, and then glued just with a hot glue gun, just glued the button in and all that, and then that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna take and change these bolts around, and then we'll be done, and then take and add a grip on and maybe paint this handle.